What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rant, no hate. Now, we talked about this before, and I was basically having a conversation with a couple of people, and then I was asked, it was funny because I was asked this question right after I was having this conversation, and a person was making points about what they think Wilder should do and what do I think he should do, right? To compare, I guess, to see like how I feel as opposed to how they feel. And that's about his next fight and how many fights I think he should have and who it should be against. Okay. That's not for me to determine, and I don't really give it thought to where I'm thinking what he should do in terms of personally. Okay. Now but if I did give it thought like that, it depends on some things. For one, now let's look at this. Wilder said he had a multi-million-dollar contract, with the Saudis. Okay. You heard Turkey say he wants to bring Wilder back. Turkey also said he wanted Anthony Joshua to stay with Ben Davison because Ben Davison changed him. Even though the change that he needed was basically here. And that's why everything clicked with him. Because he already had the tools. He just needed somebody to, you have the tools already. I got to remind you what you used to do. This is what you need. You don't need to try to do that. You need to do this. And so, yeah, like he said, even if AJ was to lose his next fight, he still want to work with him in the future because, AJ is a good fighter, a champion, and a superstar. Okay, he wants to work with Wilder. He wants to bring Wilder back. He said that. The problem is, okay, the way Wilder looked, and now, let's just be honest, Turkey's not going to get into all this social media bullshit, okay, but the excuses, all of this nonsense going on, he want to bring, and Wilder standing top, I'm a happy fighter, and I don't know if I still have my killer instinct and all this. No, we want to bring you back, Wilder. We want to bring you back in the best possible way, which means we want you. This is a grand stage, okay? We're not putting together BS fights. We want the best fighting the best. So, Wilder, okay, this is what people are thinking. The market in the U.S. is not the same. And that the people in Saudi need to see what Wilder can do in victory. The problem is, okay, what do you think Wilder they're going to do? Put a bullshit card together just so Wilder can fight a C-level fighter? No. That's just overthinking something real simple. Wilder needs to fight. And if he's going, and even if it's just to stay active, look at what Parker did. Parker had 3 fights that you can't call them meaningless because those fights helped him to get in shape, get sharp, and stay focused. Wilder needs to do the same thing. Taking time off isn't going to help Wilder. He needs to keep busy and he needs to fight. So how the Saudis going to put something together that's going to help benefit him? If he's going to fight in Saudi, he needs to fight a solid opponent. The Saudis don't want to see him fight a C-class fighter. What does that prove to them? Nothing. The man's 38. People are talking like he has all the time in the world. According to Wilder, he wanted to fight until he was 40. He's 38 now. So what Wilder needs to do is to stay busy. So if he wants to fight another Robert Helenius type of guy, if he wants to fight, Luis Ortiz again, okay, if he wants to even do those things, fine. Why? The problem with Wilder is he just talks so much shit, okay? And then beating these guys, he act like beating Robert Helenius is the same as beating Fury. Beating, Luis Ortiz is the same as beating Anthony Joshua or something like that. That's like his attitude. I showed you all time and time what I can do. Yeah, but against who? So he needs stay busy fights. That's what he needs. So do I personally care to see him fight Luis Ortiz in the third fight? Absolutely not. Do I care to see him fight Robert Helenius again? Absolutely not. I'm just saying as an example of fighting guys that he should have the edge over. That's my point. to stay focused and stay busy. That doesn't help him in the ring, though, against top-tier guys. The difference, Parker has skills. Parker just needed to stay sharp and stay focused and stay busy. Wilder needs to do the same thing. The problem is with Wilder is going to be the same thing. If he wins, he's only going to win with the right hand. So, to get the confidence back, the confidence to get you to accept the fight is not the same as the confidence in the fight when the fight gets tough and you have to dig down and find more than just the right hand because it's not working for you. Two different things. So what sense does it make for Wilder? Okay, first off, who over there in Saudi is gonna put a fight card together just for Wilder? Right? So no, we know that makes no sense. That's not happening. So to put Wilder on that card, Wilder needs to fight a top guy. Turkey is not confident that he has what it takes right now to do that. So no, he does not need. You didn't even see the fights Jarrell Miller had. Jarrell Miller had three or four fights before he just fought Dubois. And the last fight he had was against Lucas Brown before Dubois. Nobody saw those. No, who cared? I mean, well, the people that was there, but who was talking about those? You don't see those videos all over YouTube, but nobody's talking about those fights. Okay, and he's coming off of a 4-year ban. So, bottom line, though, he ended up on that card. Now, to be honest with you, and this is my point, fighting a Derek Chisora, he should beat Derek Chisora. He should beat him. But he needs to at least stay busy. To me, that's a step backwards, though. Especially now. The most you can say is, yeah, but they're the same age, pretty much, close to it. Because Wilder's 38, Chisora's what, 38, 39, whatever. But bottom line, they're right in the same age range. So that's the only thing you can say. Derek Chisora, though, we already see what he is, where he is in terms of what he's capable of doing. Derek Chisora is not an elite guy. He's not a top-level fighter. Okay, he's a guy that was a contender. They labeled him the gatekeeper. Okay, he was never that guy. He always showed heart and came to fight. But do you really want to see that on a Saudi card? I don't. And that would be just to fit him in. So you're going to insult the people and say, okay, we need to just put Wilder on the card just so people can see him and hopefully get a spectacular knockout and be right back in there. No, beating Chisora doesn't say or warrant you to be in the position that you was in to fight AJ or anybody for a top spot beating Derek Chisora. No. So I don't know if Kubrat Pulev is still around, boxing, whatever, but this is what I'm saying. The PBC can pull off bullshit like that because they'll cater to Wilder. This is my point. So in the States, for him to fight, that's what you get anyway. A main event and a bullshit card for the most part. That's what you get. So for Wilder, if he fights in the States, he's not going to, definitely not. This motherfucker went over to Saudi Arabia to fight, okay, and he's talking about he think him and Parker should have been the main event. Not because it was against Parker, but because he was in the fight, no matter who he was fighting. If that motherfucker was fighting Chicken George, he would think that he's supposed to be in the main event. Okay, so the bottom line is, if he fights in America, yeah, he's going to want to be the main event. So the rest of the card will be built around whoever he's fighting. Now, if he had 2 stay busy fights, what is it now? It's January. I don't know when he plans on coming back, if he does. But let's just say, for example, if he came back and fought in March. Just say in March. Now he fights again. Just say August or September. Either way, he's just staying busy. Now, what he need to do, if he did that, humble himself, shut the fuck up, stop talking shit, like beating a C-class fighter is the same as beating an A-class fighter. And just stay busy, make it known, look, I'm staying active, staying busy. I want to, get back into the swing of things. And so the next fight I have will be against a top-level opponent. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Again, the problem is he talks so much shit and criticize everybody else and act as if fighting these C-level, D-level fucking opponents is the same as fighting an A or B, and it's not. So he needs to do that. Otherwise, why waste anybody's time? These cards that the Saudis, you got to understand the vision that they have. Okay, they want to put on Super Bowl type cards. So, yeah, they're the boxing version of WrestleMania. Okay, that's the whole purpose. No, we don't want to give you something that you can just see on just any other card. We want to give you nothing but top-notch fights. Why you think even right now we don't even know about an undercard for what's going on? They don't want to just throw fights together to say, okay, put him versus... No, they want to make the best fights that they possibly can. So, no, we don't give Wilder or no other fighter special treatment and say, okay, let's just put him on the card. Just to get him on it. No. Turkey made it clear he wants to bring Wilder back. You know, but Wilder doesn't look good right now. He needs to go and prove himself. That's what it's about. Earning your spot. Nobody gives a fuck about if he went and knocked out Derek Chisora, if he went and knocked out Luis Ortiz again. Who really gives a fuck? Nobody cares. You're supposed to beat them. You already beat the Ortiz twice, and Ortiz is much older now than he was when you beat him. You both are. But bottom line, you're still in your damn 30s. Okay? So bottom line, nobody cares. You're just recycling something you've already done. If you beat Derek Chisora, big fucking whoopie dude, Derek Chisora lose every fucking fight he's had for like damn near the last 5-6 years or longer. Okay, and finally got one against Pulev. So, yeah, Derek Chisora. But that's the type of shit, what I'm saying. Those are the types of names that he can fight. And his fanboys are going, yeah, which is part of the problem. Because he doesn't know the difference. He doesn't know the difference. Like, no, these are not guys that people are impressed by because you beat them. The commentary and for the other fighters that respect Wilder for what he's able to accomplish with his limited ability, that's all good. But don't pump this shit up to make it seem like he needs special treatment to be on a card just to say he's on it. I would feel like a piece of shit that I'm being put on a card where I'm fighting against guys that I'm fighting against a guy that's subpar. But everybody else on the card is fighting a top level guy. And, you know, let's be real and let's not forget. See, for all of the people that's talking shit about AJ versus Ngannou, Wilder was the first one talking about fighting Ngannou, and this shit never happened. He's the first fucking one. He wanted to make that crossover fight against Ngannou, and then talking about he was going to fight him in boxing, and then after that, he was done with boxing. He was going to fight Ngannou in the cage, and he was going into MMA. Wilder said all that goofy shit. Do you hear him talking about doing any MMA? I mean, we know Clarissa Shields got some shit going on. You know, people that show interest in the point of Savannah Marshall and Katie Taylor and all these other people they're saying, or whoever the fuck, might not have been Katie, but just saying whoever the fuck it was, other females that's talking about going into MMA, okay, whatever. Who the fuck is talking about Wilder going into MMA? And everybody heard him say it. You know why they're not talking about it? Because they know he's full of shit. And all of what he would have to learn, he'd have, you know, basically what he's going to do, go into an MMA cage and thinking, oh, I got the blessing and the curse in the right hand, and that's all he need to do is land it. Okay, right. And when he ends up on his back, and let's be real, what's going to happen? So nobody's believing that bullshit about him going into MMA. Nobody. Which means either he's going to come back in the ring and he's going to step in there against a top-level guy, or he's going to stay active and fight lesser opponents just to keep busy. You just fucking fought on the same card on their reckoning. You need to keep it going. Now, taking time off is not going to help him. What's the excuse going to be? He takes time off and coming in and get knocked out. It was ring rust. Oh, I lost my killer instinct. Now, do you think that that's going to benefit him? So what? It's more of an honor to get knocked out in Turkey and you know, in Saudi Arabia than it is in America? No, the motherfucker needs to go over there, wherever. Listen, I don't give a fuck where he fights, but who the fuck outside of what's going on in Saudi Arabia right now, the people involved, outside of them, who the fuck is putting on fights in Saudi Arabia? Who's talking about anything else what any other company's doing in Saudi Arabia? So that's like, what is he going to do? Now I agree he needs to stay active. I agree. But if he wants to stay active on a Saudi card, it needs to be against a top level guy. That's my point. Not go to Saudi and get special treatment and get a subpar opponent. Absolutely not. And the problem is, Turkey doesn't think he's ready, but neither does Wilder. The man out of his own mouth said he's a happy fighter and that he doesn't know if he still have his killer instinct, and said on 7-8 Sports he has to get his killer instinct back. He said it. So he's not even sure about himself. See, this is where you got to look, and this is what hurts people. Because Anthony Joshua didn't look sure in the ring about what he was supposed to be doing against Usyk, but he got in there. Not once, but twice. He didn't look unsure against Franklin. He just looked overly cautious. Didn't look scared, just overly cautious. He didn't look scared against any of them. When he got in there with Hellenius, he's trying to land a right hand. He's boxing, and he's fighting himself, whereas he's trying to trust the instincts of being a boxer, a pure boxer, when that's not what he is. But bottom line, he got that knockout. And after get that knockout, like I tell you guys, experience gain is not just in wins. You gain experience in defeats as well. I don't give a fuck if this fight is called a draw or whatever. Bottom line, you in there. You're coming against a different style. And what did I tell you? Now that he's got that knockout against Hellenius, and he realized, damn, and I did it with one fucking punch. You don't know what changes might happen. And he may come in there and realize, okay, I know what I need to be doing. So, him fighting with training with Derek James, with Robert Garcia, and now with Ben Davison, it all is experience. And you mesh all of this shit, you learn, you watch it, you understand, okay, what I was doing with Derek James was this and this, what I was doing with Garcia was this and that, what I'm doing with Ben Davis is this and this, and now we're working on all these things, and you saw the performance. I don't give a fuck about people with this nonsense about that was his sparring partner, he knew what to do, whatever. Bottom line, he could have still went in and struggled. If he didn't believe in himself, what does it matter? So that's what Wilder needs to do. If he needs to get the confidence back, he needs to get that killer instinct back, so to speak, even though, bottom line, Joseph Parker just whooped his ass. Okay, the killer instinct was beat out of him from the first to the last round. Pretty much. That's how that went. I'm not trying to... Wilder was super confident and was talking mega shit before that fight happened. So all this talking, and talk about how he prepared himself and the amount of sparring he did and how sharp he is, that was his words. He is razor sharp. Okay. So he went in there thinking that Parker was going to be an easy touch. He was believing in the curse and the blessing in the right hand. Bullshit, and it didn't work for him. So no, nobody wants to see him. I don't want to see anybody jump on that car with an easy touch. The guy who got on there and pretty much was given it. Look, Jarrell Miller was giving Derek Chisora. Let me say this to you guys again. That's who they offered him, okay? Chisora turned the fight down. They replaced Chisora with Dubois, who was a guy coming off of a loss. Okay? Dubois proved himself. Dubois didn't go in there, talk about I lost my killer instinct and want an easy touch. No. He went in there and he took the fight. A fight that people thought he was going to lose. You heard even the British people were saying, the work rate of Miller, the constant pressure, his size. I just think that Dubois is going to break under pressure. I don't see him being able to handle that, because even with Usyk, even though he's better technically than Miller, the fact that Usyk, much smaller, was able to break him down, and I don't see how he's going to handle Jarrell Miller's pressure and his size and his work rate. Okay, that's what they all said. And what did I tell y'all? That don't mean shit. It's a different fight. And to be honest with you, Dubois should be able to beat fucking Miller. Miller's style, it only works for him because of his size and because of the guys that he fought so far. They just wasn't able to handle that shit. They really wasn't. He's beaten no top level guys himself. Okay, because the sanctioning body rank you a certain number doesn't mean that you really earned shit. They just ranked you. But if you listen and you observe what's being said versus what's actually happening, you know people are talking things based on theory. Well, when he fought him, he did that, and that guy doesn't have that kind of pressure or style, and this guy this and this guy that. Like, you You're basically repeating what people say. But again, what experience did this guy gain in the last fight that he can bring in this fight? We're not there training these guys, so we don't know what they're working on. We don't know what's going to be different, right? So we can only go by what we see them do. So for me, it's consistency. It's not just one particular fight. Okay? So when I look at, like, Anthony Joshua, for example, what he did against Wallin is what he used to always do, with the exception of, no, he wasn't throwing 4 or 5 punch combinations. But at the same time, you know, the patience, yet I'm attacking. I'm being first. I'm working behind the jab. I'm going to the body. I'm going upstairs. I'm mixing it up. I'm confident. That is what he used to do. So it's not like he did something that he's never done before. Okay? So for Deontay Wilder, I don't expect any changes in his skill level. So when he says get the confidence back, it's like I said, you can go knock out 2 meatballs. But when you step up in competition, you're going to know it's different. You're going to know it's different. And he knows it's different now. So part of his lack of confidence also is due to his lack of commitment in what he should be doing in that gym. He's running the gym. Okay? He's running the gym. He's running this. He's calling the shots, not Malik Scott. Okay? So for Deontay to know this is a tough sport, these training camps are grueling, I need to get in the best shape I can, and man, do I still want to do this? That's Deontay's biggest issue. That's his biggest issue. Physically and mentally being able to keep it together and come in there and finally have to fight the top guys. And not only that, I don't have the power to say no and renegotiate. It's either take it or leave it with the Saudis. What he does in America, what he does with the PBC, what he does anywhere in America, whether it's with PBC or whoever, whatever money he's going to make, nobody wants to pay this man $20 million to fight no fucking Ortiz. Nobody's going to pay him $20 million to fight Derek Chisora. No way. It's the fight itself is not worth that. And Derek Chisora is not going to come to the U.S. Derek Chisora doesn't. What does that fight do for Derek Chisora? Because after he gets knocked out, let's say he even won. Who's Derek Chisora going to beat? What top level guy? So I feel like Derek Chisora, he's not chasing any titles. He just wants to be in a position where if his name comes up to fight anyone, it's a huge payday. And hey, it's not about a title for him. Deontay Wilder, on the other hand, his spot against AJ would have been for undisputed should he win. Okay? Vice versa. So between Derek Chisora and Wilder, even though they're in the same age group, bottom line, Wilder has everything to lose. Chisora doesn't. He just lose. We're used to him losing. You understand what I mean? It does nothing. And the fact of the matter is, if Derek Chisora was to beat Deontay Wilder, then it goes to show you definitely too that the guy is really done. Because Derek Chisora is not a top level guy. When we've seen Deontay get outboxed by guys that wasn't top level, and he was just able to get the knockout. So again, we're back to the drawing board, back to where we started with Wilder. I can beat C and D level guys. When it comes to B and A level, it's a problem. It's a problem. So if Deontay Wilder is going to be on a Saudi card, then he needs to fight a top guy. Okay, he needs to fight a Daniel Dubois or Frank Sanchez. He needs to fight those guys. If he's not going to do that, then why in the hell are we even considering him on a Saudi card? Which is why he needs to go and stay busy and stay active. And like 7-8 told him, against 2 lesser opponents. He told Wilder that. Did Wilder say, no, I don't need no lesser opponents? You heard AJ say that. And what did I say about AJ? I said, listen, I commend his heart and I understand what he's saying. But to work on new things and have a different trainer and get there and put it all together, you might need a lesser opponent to be able to do this and get the confidence to understand. It's not just so much to the confidence. The confidence comes from, okay, now I know how I'm supposed to piece this together. Whereas you fight another top level guy and the things you're working on, you might find yourself in a tougher fight to where those things you worked on might not have came into play against a particular opponent. That's why they handpick certain people, so there's things that you're working on that you'll be able to get off and you understand, even if it's closing the distance and finding the range. Like, for example, just Derek James kept telling him, just throw the right hand, don't worry about it, just throw it, right? Okay. The problem in Derek James saying that is AJ needed instructions on how do I get there, though. I know I need to throw it, but I'm trying to get there, and Derek James wasn't, you understand what I'm saying? He wasn't able to get it through to AJ of how to do it. It's like when you in school, right? And you memorize answers, right? So on paper, you got the answer correct. Then the teacher tell you to go to the board and you do the arithmetic to show everybody how you got the answer, and you can't do it. That's where AJ was at that point. Okay? He's fighting a guy in Hellenius that kept leaning back and moving. He's trying to land, the right hand, and he just kept coming up short, and he couldn't get in the range he needed to. And he was focused so much on trying to land that right hand that, yeah, he was eating some jabs here and there, but even though he was winning the fight, he won the fight, he got the knockout. Experience gained. You know what I mean? But we talking about a guy that has all the tools he needs. He just needed somebody to dust them off and, all right, let's get back to work. So, yeah, for as far as Wilder goes, like I said, whoever those opponents are, if it's lesser opponents, just to stay active, just make it known and be humble about it. That's all. That's all. And then that leads to him getting back on a big Saudi card. And if he's going to do it, he needs to stop wasting time because he's not getting any damn younger. So if he had 2 fights, I wouldn't suggest 3. 2 fights to stay active, keep busy, and get back in there with another top-level guy after that. Whatever happens, happens. But to go on a Saudi card and they handpick a bullshit fighter for you goes against the principles and the vision of what they had. And why the hell would they do that for any one particular fighter? If it was Anthony Joshua in the same situation, I'd be saying the same exact thing. Remember, I was the one saying, I don't see how they're going to make AJ put him in a position to fight for a title over a guy who's mandatory. That's not cool. That's but it's about star power. It's about who can put asses in seats. All that kind of shit that goes along with it. So for what the Saudis are doing, you look at what they did with their record, and they showed you this is what we want to do every time. Every single time. And so yeah. So either Wilder's gonna do that, fight 2 lesser opponents, and then earn his spot back. That's what it's about. It's not about gimme, can I have? No, earn his spot back. I'm ready. I went there, I got the job done. And how he looks, people are gonna give their opinions on what they think. His fans are always gonna believe the right hand is enough, even though it's not. But then if he works his way back, okay, now that next fight is going to be against a top-level guy. Now, if he's not going to take that route, then he needs to suck it up and get in there and fight a top-level guy and go out on his damn shield. Win, lose, or draw, right? But, again, Turkey doesn't want him on this card coming up, and he said that Wilder won't be on the card, okay? Whatever comes after that, Turkey wants to see improvement. So, again, like I brought up the fact that he told Anthony Joshua, he said that he wanted to stay with Ben Davison because he liked what he saw. He laid, the improvement, the changes. No different for goddamn Wilder. That's exactly the point. Turkey doesn't want him on the card. And people are overlooking this shit. Wilder doesn't have to say so. Turkey wants the best version of Wilder that he can possibly get. That's the point. And going off that last fight, you guys are the ones always talk about, you're only as good as your last fight. Well, according to his last fight, who in the hell do you want to see Wilder go in there and fight against? It's already apparent he didn't want to fight Zhang. He didn't want the rematch with Parker. So you guys are overlooking. These are fights that he's turning down. Not Turkey, not nobody in Saudi Arabia, not the opponents. Zhang had already signed for him. Everybody keep talking this shit about how, oh man, AJ went and fought Usman to go fight Ngannou. Well, that's a fight that Wilder wanted before Fury. AJ didn't even want the fight with Ngannou. That wasn't about what he wanted. It was a business move, and it was Eddie Hearn's decision, and he's getting the same money that he would have got for Wilder. So since you fumbled, Wilder, you fumbled the bag. Everybody, they blame Zhang. They blame Ngannou. No. They blame Ngannou for talking about he fumbled the bag or whatever, or Joseph Parker fumbled. No. Wilder fumbled. So since you fumbled, and because of you, I'm missing out on a chance to fight for Undisputed and for $50 million. Nope. Now I'm still gonna get the $50 million against Ngannou, and after I beat him, I'm fighting for Undisputed. So why should any one fighter put their career on hold because somebody else, didn't hold up the end of the bargain? So, bottom line is Deontay Wilder, no fighter. I don't want to hear that favoritism shit. He needs to earn his spot back. And when you look at the fact that he turned down a fight with Zay, he turned down a rematch with Parker, okay, it's obvious, it's common sense. Why would he turn them down just to turn around and fight another top-level guy that's just as dangerous as both of them? So that makes no sense. So we know that he doesn't want to do that. And the fact that he agreed with 7-8 Sports, when 7-8 told him you need to come back, fight like two different fighters, man, get sharp again, get back, what I'm saying? These guys want me to touch you. Oh, not at all. Absolutely. Okay. So he's agreeing with the tune-up shit. He had tune-ups his whole career. So this is where right now, the decision that he's not making, that people are overlooking as if they don't understand why he's not fighting AJ, you guys are on crack. Simple. But Turkey does not want him on this card, or the next card for that matter, based on his last performance. So for Wilder to want that spot back, he has to want to go in there and fight. And all this happy fighter, my killer instinct, Wilder sound like he's done to me. Now, if he's not going to stay active and stay busy and keep fighting, then he can't come with this bullshit again. I'm not accepting the ring rust bullshit. I don't want to hear it. I don't care. You're too confident and too cocky to blame that shit after. And after you said, we're not going to blame it on ring rust, though. Yeah, it could have been inactivity, but we ain't going to blame it on that. Okay, but then you blame it on that. So you're obviously aware that the longer you stay out the ring, it's not helping you. So the decision that he needs to make is, do I want to continue to fight or not? It's as simple as that. So who he decides to fight, like I said, to make my point clear, like I already made it, but let me in closing say it one last time before I close the video. If he's going to fight lesser opponents, that's not going to happen in Saudi. So you can forget that. He needs to go do whatever he's going to do with the PBC or whoever or whatever. Let them put something together where he can go in there, knock people out, and do what he does. Because he's not going to get better skill-wise, and he's already camouflaged his shit where he can, got in the position that he was in. And give credit to him for the people that he's beat so far, because he did what he did. But it's like I said, the level stopped here. It didn't go up here. And that's where he's going to always have problems with top-level guys. So beating Meatballs will just allow him to get back on a Saudi card if he looks impressive. But it doesn't mean that he's going to beat a top-level guy. That's the whole thing. Okay, I did enough to get here, but now, can I stay here? And it'll be the same thing all over again. He's going to get knocked out by someone. He's going to get beat up really badly or whichever one. And then it's going to be the same thing. And then it's going to be the excuses about his age and how, he wasn't active. Or you can't say it wasn't. You can't blame him on being inactive if he stays active. So bottom line, he's just not the same fighter. It's Father Time, blah, blah, blah. Every excuse. Like I said, when people talked about him taking the fight and they don't think he was ready, that he took Parker lightly. Okay, fine. But that motherfucking conditioning wasn't the fucking excuse either. It wasn't no issue either, because that motherfucker was on his toes running all night long. You didn't see any fatigue in this dude. You didn't see this motherfucker in there looking like he's huffing and puffing. No, he was just getting beat up. So yeah, so either he's gonna take the easy route, get some rounds in and stay busy. And the point of the point of taking the fights is not to look spectacular. If you're fighting lower tier guys, you should get rid of them. The point of taking lower tier guys is just to stay active. And whatever you can work on, which we know is going to be the same shit he's always doing, okay? Now, I got the rounds in. I'm active. I got 2 wins under my belt. Now, if the Saudis feel like, okay, at least he won his last 2 and he went in and did what he does, let's put him back in. But he gets back in now with the top guy. Not fight 2 meatballs over in America and then go to Saudi and fight another meatball. No. You're earning your spot back on the Saudi card. And whoever that will be against, well, that you know, it still should be a top level guy. But we're not trying to give him anything. The Saudis are not controlling the rankings. They have nothing to do with that. They basically just want to put the best fights together. So however it goes down for Wilder, it's up to him. And the fact that he's been quiet all of this time, I don't think the desire is there anymore. And I truly think that if Wilder, I truly believe it. And remember, you're hearing it from here. I truly believe if Wilder gets in there with a top level guy, yeah, he's going to get knocked the fuck out. If he gets in there with a Frank Sanchez, he's going night-night. If he gets in there, I don't even think he'll beat Jared Anderson. I really don't even think he beat him. In all honesty, Wilder is going to always struggle with top level guys. And how many more fights do you think Wilder really has in him? So this is the point. You know, he talk about I'm still young, you know what I'm saying? I'm still, okay, cool. But don't stay out the ring. We don't want ring rust excuses. We don't want no, oh, you know, they put me in there with a guy that was active and I wasn't. We don't want no excuses about nothing. Bottom line is, I stepped up in competition and I found out that I can't get the job done. See, the shit that Fury said about AJ really pertains to Wilder. He said AJ simply can't compete with the elite guys. Okay, that's bullshit. And pretty much look at who he lost to in his whole career. In his whole boxing, his pro career. He lost to Andy Ruiz and he avenged it. He lost twice to Usyk. So what the fuck is Fury talking about? And this man was 2-time unified champion and you didn't fight him. So the one that can't compete with the elite guys and win is Wilder. Look at the facts. So yeah, that's what I feel about Wilder. And like I said, it's any fighters. It's not about giving you shit. It's about you earning your spot. And if you're given something, you need to make the most of it. So who are you blaming that Wilder is right now silent and not being active? And if Wilder was back in the gym training and planning on making a return, you see videos already. Malik Scott will be talking about it. Shelly Finkel will be talking about it. If you notice, they all been ghosted right now. You know, even Malik Scott talk about, you know, no opponent can defeat Father Time and all. Okay, so he's indicating what? Wilder didn't look the same. You didn't see that in training. You hear many fighters and trainers say, you know, I remember when Roy Jones lost and Alton Murchison was saying that he just noticing Roy starting to get hit more. He's getting hit with shots he never used to get hit with. His legs is not getting him around the ring like he used to. So, yeah. Alton Murchison said that. You don't hear Malik Scott saying that. You don't hear Shelly Finkel or nobody saying Wilder's not looking the same in training. So Wilder got to figure out what he's going to do. But no, we don't want to see him on no Saudi card. We don't want to see anybody. I don't want to see nobody on the Saudi card fighting against low-tier guys. And again, the hypocrisy of saying Ngannou's name, Ngannou just headlined with Fury, and nobody was talking about that shit. And everybody was impressed because here's a novice that came in and did what he did. So now all of a sudden he's fighting AJ. Wilder fans are, oh, but why is he fighting Ngannou? Or different guys. What do you mean? I don't care. Joe Joyce, Zhang, anybody who has something to say about Ngannou, at least Zhang was honest enough to say, but, you know, if I had the same opportunity, I'd fight Zhang. I would fight Ngannou as well. So, okay then. So you sound stupid trying to shoot down one guy for doing what you admit that you'd do if you was in the position. So, with all that, y'all, it just comes down to Wilder has to want this. Plain and simple, he has to want this. But no, nobody wants to see him on a Saudi card doing this nonsense. That's the difference. Saudis, what they're doing, the Saudis, this is their events is the X factor. So yeah, I mean, if they decided to try to put, and you got to understand, like this Amazon Prime deal that they have with the PBC, whatever. Okay, I'm not hearing anything from Wilder. That's my point about him fighting anywhere, about at anything. So if he's gonna get in the ring, you think that they would at least advertise, and you know it's not gonna be a big fight. It's not gonna be somebody really noteworthy. But at the end of the day, it's like, why would you, if you want to stay active, why would you, just stay out the ring and take the time off, unless you feeling like, I'm a happy fighter, I lost my killer instinct? No. You just realize it's an uphill battle, limited skills, and it's like it got you as far as it did, and that's where it stops. He's not going to elevate. He's not going to become a better fighter. A new trainer's not going to help. He didn't listen to Mark Breland. He's not listening to Malik Scott. He's telling Malik Scott what to do. But that's what we know for Wilder. He either sink or swim, man. So yeah, that's it. Sum it up. Two meatball fights in the States. Earn your spot back to that Saudi card, or suck it up. I don't know what it is he can do that's going to prove to Turkey that he's back, in top form. No, that's what, and you know what's funny about it to me is that's what people are overlooking. Wilder was Wilder. He just basically got beat up because he fought a guy that was just better than him. It's in other people's minds that we have to make an excuse for Wilder as to why he lost. He could have just lost. AJ could just lose. Anybody else could just lose. Errol Spence could just lose. Anybody else. It just can't be Wilder. Wilder just couldn't lose, even though we've seen him get outboxed how many times by lesser guys, and then he just gets the knockout. So yeah, it wasn't about he's not the same fighter. Oh, he wasn't doing this. Yeah, no, right. Give Joseph Parker his credit. Joseph Parker, like when Malik Scott said they had a great game plan and this, and Wilder said he had a great game plan. Okay, right, but then you turn around and make an excuse as to why he won. So yeah, it wasn't no there old Wilder. He wasn't the same Wilder. No, Wilder was in a position where he didn't know how to solve Joseph Parker. He couldn't figure out what to do, and he's not a thinker. He's not that kind of guy. He's just not that fighter. So what's he going to do now? That's up to him. But that's what I think. That's my take on Wilder and where he stands. And if Wilder is going to continue to fight, he needs to stay active. If Wilder is not going to stay busy, what are you going to wait till he turn 40? Then jump back in there? And then say, well, it was ring rust. I ain't fought in 2 years. Come on, y'all. So that's my take on it. Anyway, talk to me in the comment section. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hell to people, and I will catch y'all in the next video. And for you Wilder fans, take his meat out your mouth before you come in my comment section, so I don't have to block you and delete you. Because I don't want to hear your personal feelings. I don't want to hear you confessing your love for him or no fighter. But y'all always come in the comment section trying to argue with everybody and making asses out yourselves. Because I'm going to say what I'm going to say regardless. But I don't come here with that. I'm not with this fanboy shit. Little kids, stay off my channel. And I don't give a fuck if you got a receding hairline and nothing but gray and white hair on the sides. Stay off my channel if you're a fanboy. Don't come on here with that bullshit because I don't want to hear you. I'm just going to block you and delete you. So it's as simple as that. Come with the respect or don't come at all. Anyway, enough talk.